Joey Logano is already a first ballot NASCAR Hall of Famer, but in this video I'm going to explain why I sincerely believe he could be in the Mount Rushmore conversation when his career is all said and done. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Back home from Phoenix, another NASCAR championship weekend in the books. I still have that sign that very nice track worker gave me. I didn't catch his name, unfortunately, but if you're watching, you know who you are. Thank you. I gotta find a spot for this. How about right there? At least for this episode. Got some news to touch on, then we're gonna talk Joey Logano, your 2022 Cup Series champion. First, I saw this tweet earlier today, but in case you're curious, Chicago street course tickets go on sale this Thursday. If you're watching this the night it comes out, 2 days from now, you can get your tickets to the first ever NASCAR Chicago street course weekend. The Xfinity Series races on July 1st. The Cup Series will race on July 2nd. I am still both excited, yet also a bit skeptical. I think the idea of racing in the city streets of Chicago, Illinois, visually is gonna look stunning. A great way to bring your product to the people, get it in front of fans who may otherwise not choose to seek it out. But I am still skeptical of just how effective this whole event will be. A report from Adam Stern last week, I believe, says NASCAR is spending over $50 million themselves to bring this race to life. That is a lot of money. Money well spent? Time will tell. And then, of course, when we just focus on the race itself, I'm not convinced we're going to see great NASCAR door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel action. Again, visually, racing along Michigan Avenue with the Chicago skyline looming overhead is going to look great. I'm not convinced the on-track racing will look that great. I don't anticipate a ton of passing. The narrow corners could spell disaster in some moments. If nothing else, at least I'm still curious about the NASCAR Chicago Street Course weekend. If you're curious as well, tickets go on sale this Thursday, November 10th. First street racing cup history, I guess. Speaking of NASCAR and trying to reach new audiences, let's talk about NASCAR television ratings for just a moment. Austin Koneski tweeted this today, saying NASCAR's overall viewership for the 2022 season is at its highest since the 2018 season. And as you can see, he breaks it down by year. 2022 saw an average of just over 3 million viewers per race. That breaks a 3-year streak of averaging less than 3 million viewers per race, but still doesn't quite meet the mark of 2018. At first glance, I think that's positive news. Perhaps after years of ratings decline, NASCAR has finally hit rock bottom and is beginning to turn the corner. I do think there are a lot of positives to take from that. I think the beginning of the season, ratings were really strong. Things sort of petered off here towards the end. Phoenix was flat compared to last year's championship race. That's despite the viral sensation that was Ross Chastain's Hail Melon attracting well over 100 million viewers on social media. The social media clicks did not immediately translate into new TV viewers. So that is, I guess, slightly disappointing. I didn't expect a huge rating spike for Phoenix or anything, but I hoped maybe it would be a little higher than last year's race instead of basically flat. I thought that tweet was interesting. The only reason I'm even bringing up TV ratings is because going into 2023, negotiations between NASCAR and major media companies are gonna heat up regarding 2025 and beyond. NASCAR's current deal with NBC and Fox expires at the end of 2024. I think it's safe to say NASCAR doesn't want to go into that season not knowing what the future holds. So I expect negotiations to heat up quite a bit here in 2023, and any sort of positive news on the traditional TV ratings front is good news for both NASCAR and potentially the race teams. Both are looking to see revenues go up. The team specifically want a larger split of the TV revenue. If NASCAR is able to get more TV revenue, they might be more willing to make that compromise. We'll see what happens as 2023 goes on, but there's a look at ratings for 2022 at a glance. Now that I'm back home and I've had a couple of days, an entire plane ride to digest Sunday evening's championship race, I want to talk a little bit more about our new champion, Joey Logano. Did y'all realize that Joey Logano was nearly 3 years older than all the other Championship 4 drivers? That's right, sliced bread. The same kid who won his first Xfinity race just a few days after his 18th birthday. The same kid who struggled to find his footing at Joe Gibbs Racing. The same kid who quickly made enemies with veteran drivers like Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Martin Truex. That same kid, Joey Logano, is now one of just 17 drivers all time to win 2 or more NASCAR Cup Series titles. And he's only 32 years old. Just how far can Joey Logano go? Now, I know we have this conversation every few years, it seems. Like, after Jimmy Johnson won his 7th title in 2016 at just the age of 41, we all said he has a great chance at getting number 8. No one's slowing down Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. He won 3 races right off the bat the very next season, and then never won again. We all got a little ahead of ourselves, perhaps. Then in 2019, Kyle Busch wins his 2nd Cup Series championship. He's just 34 years old at that point. He'd made it to the championship for 5 straight years. We were all saying he is just getting started. And then Kyle Busch has won a total of 4 Cup races in the 3 years since. Now he's lost his primary sponsor and is leaving Joe Gibbs Racing. I still think Busch is going to have a big year next year with RCR, but he hasn't been to the championship 4 since his last title. Maybe we jumped the gun on Kyle Busch a little as well, but maybe Joey Logano is different. He was, in fact, the oldest of the 4 championship drivers this year, and I think many took note of his confidence all week. And after he won the championship Sunday, he said, quote, "I said it all week. We weren't satisfied with being in the championship 4. There was nothing to celebrate for us." He had indicated that other drivers, namely like Bell, Chastain perhaps, were kind of just happy to be there. Not Joey Logano, not Paul Wolfe, not Team Penske. When a championship is on the line, the often jokey, smiley, happy-go-lucky Joey Logano is dead serious. And so far, it's led to results. Joey Logano has been to 5 championship 4s. That ties in with Busch, Harvick, and Truex for the most appearances all time. He's won 2 of them. That's a 40% winning percentage. Kyle Busch is the only other driver who's 2 for 5, but again, he hasn't been to a championship 4 in 3 years. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr. are both just 1 for 5, 20%. Chase Elliott's 1 for 3, 33%. Denny Hamlin's 0 for 4, 0%. I know with this format, we'll likely never see 5 titles in a row like Jimmy Johnson was able to do in the 2000s, but Logano's success rate in that championship race is higher than that of many of his top contenders. And to me, Joey Logano is perfectly built for modern NASCAR. He's aggressive. He's relentless. He's learned to block out the haters, so to speak. He's not afraid of making enemies. The only year it really backfired on him was 2015. But 2015 in NASCAR years was a long, long time ago. Nowadays, aggression wins. Think about it. All year we heard about how Ross Chastain is gonna get paid back. Jeff Burton said they won't let him win the championship. Chastain's on a list. They're gonna pay him back when it matters most. Nothing ever happened. I mean, Hamlin raced him kind of hard at Pocono, I guess, but Ross Chastain made it to the championship 4. Ty Gibbs making all sorts of enemies this year, getting in fights, showing immaturity. Rex's teammate to get in the championship 4. Once he's there, oh, those junior motorsports cars, no one's gonna cut him any breaks. And nothing happened. Ty Gibbs won the Xfinity Series championship this weekend. Remember when Martin Truex Jr. said Joey Logano ain't gonna win the damn war? Guess who won the damn war that season? Danica Patrick recently talked about how much she hated the way Joey Logano raced on her podcast recently.
Joey's a jackass on the track. He also is another one that I don't like. He's just a little punk out there. Just look at his track record.
I mean, Logano doesn't have to worry about that. Danica Patrick's not racing anymore. On that note, I remember when we had Mark Martin on a live stream on this channel. This was 2 years ago now. Maybe his opinions changed a little. But 2 years ago, Mark Martin was on this channel talking about Joey Logano moving him out of the way at Pocono for the win in 2012.
Bobby was a good friend of me, and Bobby was instrumental in me getting my ride with Roush. So I see Joey Logano when he's 11 years old racing, and he's outrunning all the men and out driving all the men. I knew that first night I saw him race that he was going to be a NASCAR champion. And I promoted him and I helped him and I got him a lot of attention with NASCAR journalists, and I got him in with Jack Roush, and of course they didn't treat him fair. So my point being, because of the integrity I have and the person that I am, I would kill myself before I would move Bobby Allison for a win. And this is what happened at Pocono. You know, when Joey moved me, that race I'll probably never completely get over.
Drivers like Mark Martin are becoming rarer and rarer these days. That's not the racing etiquette that most drivers today abide by. I'm not saying I always like Joey Logano's driving style. I was not a fan of his move at Darlington earlier this year when he knocked William Byron out of the way. But unless NASCAR makes a fundamental change to how they officiate races, I think Joey Logano is built for this modern era. I think Logano is going to have tremendous success over at least the next decade. I'm not predicting Logano's going to win 6 or 7 championships, but he could win 4. On paper, that would put him ahead of legends like Tony Stewart. He'd be in the Jeff Gordon conversation. He's already, in my opinion, in the Kevin Harvick or Rusty Wallace or Bill Elliott conversation. Logano has 31 wins, good for 28th most all time. Again, at just the age of 32. And he just signed a long-term, multi-year extension with Team Penske. Shell Pennzoil, I believe, is signed through like at least 2027, if I'm not mistaken. Joey Logano used to be a kid. It doesn't feel like that long ago. Now he's celebrating championships with his kids, giving his son a ride into victory lane. And like I said, he's still got at least 10 more prime racing years ahead of him. Sky's the limit. I know Joey Logano in many ways is still not a fan favorite, but I think we all got to get used to seeing that red and yellow 22 hoisting the big trophy, or at least being in contention for the big trophy for many years to come. See, I can be objective. I'm a Matt Kenseth fan, a lifelong Matt Kenseth fan, but I can still acknowledge and admire the talent that is Joey Logano and the success he's had and the success I believe he is primed to continue having. Share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment? Or do you agree and think Joey Logano is primed to have tremendous success and potentially become a part of the Mount Rushmore conversation? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I look forward to reading them. That is going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming content. Got some fun stuff to share with y'all that I filmed at Phoenix a couple days ago. As always, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. Couldn't do the show without your tremendous and very generous support. I will be back tomorrow. Got lots of off-season videos in the works, grading every driver's 2022 season, top 10 paint schemes, all that stuff and more in the works. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you again real soon. Take it easy, y'all.